Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J Dawg.
Mike, it's good to see you. And at least we're not Buffalo Bills fans today, right?
Yeah, it would suck to drive in the snow, shovel your own seat, and sit there and be taunted by Jason Kelce and Taylor Swift, and then lose the game.
And that was a good day in Buffalo. The other 6 days, they just lived there. Sorry, upstate New York. Listen, I was looking this up, a trivia question to get off the bat for you.
Okay.
Name the year the Bills won their last Super Bowl. Any guesses when they last won the Super Bowl?
Oh, man, I don't know. Well, definitely, I got to say not in my adult years, I'm going to say. So I'm going to go back a little far. I'm going to go like 1983, something like that.
It's a great guess. Young Jim Kelly was slinging it for the Bills back then, but I'll tell you the answer is never. The Bills have never won a Super Bowl. They've had Josh Allen for like 5 years, and they haven't gotten to the AFC Championship game, right? And so it's like, if not now, they might never do it.
Yeah, it's tough. And I also saw on Instagram today, somebody posted like the Kansas City actually traded with Buffalo to actually end up getting Patrick Mahomes in the draft when Alex Smith was still quarterback. There was like a trade.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's extra bad.
It's just, I don't know what it is. And honestly, though, like going into the game, you kind of, now I'm not going to say the NFL is scripted, but in some way, but the script writers are working hard because it is really matching up really well for San Francisco Ravens Super Bowl with the colors matching up. And if it does match up, is it scripted? Because even I saw the refs this week that are going to ref the Ravens KC game favor Kansas City heavily. I don't know what's going to happen, but Jeremy, it is getting a little eerie that those colors might match up.
We call this out like week 6. As soon as we saw the logo, it was like very apparent. There's a red, there's a purple, and there's 2 red and purple dominant teams. Yeah. They are the Ravens Niners, and they're on track. Now, the Niners barely survive. We'll talk about that coming up. Let's stick to the Bills Chiefs for a second.
Okay.
Because, Mike, we are blessed with this great quarterback play. It's Mahomes and Allen. It's so fun to watch. Every time they link up, whether it's playoffs, regular season, it's amazing. There isn't a better QB duel going on in our lifetimes than those two. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of like what we wanted after Tom Brady retired and Peyton Manning's gone. Now we have like these guys we look forward to. I think it was great. It was a great game. It was exciting. And it's just, you almost feel like, oh, Josh is never going to win it. He's never going to get through Patrick Mahomes unless something happens to the team or to him. It just seems like he's like almost there every time. It's like, oh, this time it was the kicker because he fucking missed it to the left and then he canceled himself off.
Let's not blaming the kicker. I mean, Josh missed 2 throws on 2nd down and 3rd down to set up that long kick, and we knew it was going to be windy. I'm not okay blaming the kicker. I thought Josh lost the game late. But you're right that the Bills will not get a better chance as good as they just had at home. The other meetings have been in Kansas City. The Chiefs have been down most of the year. I know they've been playing better lately. Their defense is playing better. We wrote them off during the regular season. This was the year the Chiefs don't advance the AFC Championship game. Yet Mahomes doing his thing. Now 6 straight AFC Championships. We have to place him there every year going forward. If the bet is that you're going to bet against him and not be there, it's a bad bet because he's going to get there every time. And as I learned this weekend, don't bet against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs.
And Jeremy, we're going to be in Vegas this week. We might lay down some money on some Super Bowl because we're going to be there before the games. And I think I'm just going to put money on the Super Bowl matchup and the Super Bowl winner. And my prediction right now, because we're going to get into the San Francisco game, but I'm going to say Kansas City is going to win it. This will be if the script writers are working. So
script is out. It's not correct. The purple's out.
All I'm saying is if the script writers are working right, they actually changed their mind halfway through when they realized Taylor Swift was part of this bandwagon Kansas City fan.
Right.
Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl with Travis Kelce. That's like the ultimate. I mean, you saw it last night. Jason Kelce taking his shirt off, cheering on the game. So Taylor in the background. It was like you couldn't write this. It was wild. So if Taylor's not at the Super Bowl, NFL did it wrong. I would put my entire mortgage on Kansas City this weekend. That's who I'm betting for this weekend.
Well, one thing about the Super Bowl is I think Taylor has a concert in Tokyo the night before the Super Bowl. Now, Tokyo to Vegas is doable on a private jet if you have like 24 hours, maybe more, the way the world spins. We'll see if she makes it in that scenario. You're flipping the script here. So you're saying that you're out on the Ravens. You're going to take the Chiefs to win this week. They won you back just against the Dolphins and the Bills. Like they turned you.
Who, the Chiefs?
The Chiefs, because you were Ravens ahead of this.
Yeah, I thought the Ravens, but now as you see, I think there's like favorability towards Kansas City. There's something going on. Like, you better believe Goodell's like, look, if we get Kansas City in the Super Bowl, this could be the biggest Super Bowl of all time. I mean, I'm sure the ratings last night were big. I don't know what they were, but it's like a spectacle every time Taylor's around. So she just like draws this other audience in. And imagine you're going to be over here for Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to have 2 separate rooms. The boys will be in the back room, locked away. And the people that want to watch, Taylor and all that other stuff, they're going to be in the main room. We're going to be in the small TV room.
I didn't realize we're separating. So the Taylor Swift cam will be out in the living room. The actual game, the X's and O's will be in the back room.
Yeah. Because, it's most years, how hard is it to actually hear what's going on in the game?
I like everybody's a real room to watch in. I love it.
Yeah. We need a real room.
One of the reports I saw yesterday before the game, and I had money on the Bills. I thought the Bills would win. I thought this was the year. Clearly, I was wrong. Clearly, I didn't know how much their kicker didn't know how to play the wind. In golf, Mike, I've been playing the wind my whole life. And if it's windy one way, you hit the ball the other way, let the wind carry it. Yeah. Apparently, the Bills kicker isn't a big golfer because he's not familiar with that concept. Ripped right on him. You always allow more for the wind. The report that Travis Kelce, who actually played really well at his first touchdown in 8 games, he had 2 touchdowns, really stepping it up. A report that he might retire once the Chiefs are eliminated, which I thought was going to be yesterday. That was interesting. And the idea that Kelce and Swift going out on their own without the NFL, like that could be the biggest thing past the NFL if that happens.
Would you just Kelce and Taylor Swift just like
living Hollywood lives? Like forget the NFL. Maybe they don't need the NFL. Maybe Travis Kelce becomes a bigger star once he's not playing. Whatever movies like the John Cena role / Taylor Swift's husband. Like they'll get married. Maybe a televised wedding. I just see so many storylines on Kelce. Maybe retiring with his brother is what the report said.
That'd be kind of fun. They go off, do their podcast, hang out with Taylor Swift. Jeremy, we also have to talk about your gambling. You've been gambling. In our little fake fantasy gambling pool, and you're not doing hot. So kind of walk through everybody. What were your bets? What's your mindset going into it all?
Happy to. Listen, Mike, everyone's saying Ravens 49ers. You told me the NFL decided it in like week 6, and I'm like, no, I don't do conspiracy theories like that. Never me conspiracy theories. That's crazy. And so I'm like, I'm going to buck it. I'm going to go against it. And so I was all aboard the Bills, the Cowboys, and the Lions to make the Super Bowl. And that's what all my bets have been focused on. Let me remind you now, there's only been 2 upsets in this entire NFL playoffs. Only 2. It was the Packers over the Cowboys. I had my biggest bet of the week on the Cowboys in week 1, and it was the Chiefs over the Bills, and I had my biggest bet of the weekend on the Bills in that one. So I've been missing out on those. I've been picking the wrong upsets. I had a big money line bet on the Packers. I'm going to say that was a good bet. I mean, it just didn't work out, but I knew they would keep it close. I know San Francisco's fraudulent. I know Brock Purdy's not for real, so we can transition to that. Yeah. What'd you think of your boy Brock Purdy in the rain on Saturday?
Jeremy, I was not happy watching that game. It really made me think, who am I going to bet on this weekend? This weekend's hard. I got that fake money in our gambling pool. I feel like I need to go all in this week. So I'm going back to my beginnings. I'm going all in. I have about $1,700 I'm going to go all in with. There will be no bet on the 49ers this weekend. I saw
Mike.
When Brock Purdy put that glove on and was throwing the ball not accurately, it worried the shit out of me. If you put that man in any discomfort, he can't throw the ball. I do not like it. It made me it's like, take off the glove, play like everybody else. Like, it's okay if it's a little wet. At least you can feel it a little more. I don't know if you've ever thrown a football with a glove on, but it feels so different. You're not like, it's not coming off the same. It's a little stickier. So it's I don't know.
You're not touching the ball at that point. You're touching the inside of a glove, and like your human connection to the ball is gone when you're wearing a glove.
It's scary. Honestly, Packers should have won that game. They played better. The return, I don't even know who that return guy was for the Packers, but just returning balls like it was nothing against the 49ers. 49ers looked like frauds. That extra prep time when they knew it was already over in the Cowboys game didn't help them at all.
No.
I don't know what was going on, but I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the 49ers. 49ers Lions, like maybe you could see the Niners do it. I mean, the Lions didn't blow me away against the Bucs. I was like, okay, like they make sense. Like Baker's out there, like there's only so much you can do. The game was close, but yeah, the 49ers, I think I'm over it. You know what? I'm glad I lost that MVP bet for Brock because it's over for Brock. After that, a little rain, not going to do it for him.
One thing we're learning about Mike here is he is not afraid to jump off a bandwagon at any point, anytime. You're off the Ravens, and now you're off the Niners, too. So you're off the whole script writing thing. You have Lions-Chiefs, which my bet this week will be Lions-Chiefs. Money line parlay just to try to get back into it. We'll see. I don't have much money left.
So you got, what, $22 left?
I do, but I do have a long-term Lions bet on the NFC Championship. Okay. And so once they hit that, I'll be back in our pool. No one cares about that. What they do care about is me being right about Brock Purdy. I've been telling you for weeks and weeks, the fraudulence is reeking. I can smell it down here in L.A. all the way from San Francisco. We lost a light on you. I don't know if people are watching.
There we go. There
it goes back on for our video viewers. So I can smell the stench of Brock Purdy traveling down the 405 all the way here to LA from San Francisco. It was on display. I love to see it, Mike. I've been calling for it, and it happened as soon as anything changes. A little bit of rain, a little bit of Deebo Samuel injury. The offense goes to shit. And even, you have Christian McCaffrey. You still have the best guy, and they still weren't functioning properly. What was Shanahan doing with the play calling? They were not feeding McCaffrey, even when it was very apparent that Purdy couldn't throw. And to your point with the gloves, even at one point after he took the glove off, he would drop back to pass, hold the ball in his left hand, wipe his right hand on his body, on his uniform, and then try to throw it again. This is amateur stuff. The guy never played in rain in high school or college, and it really made me feel good that I've been saying for a while, 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, something's up with this guy. Something's not going to work, and we're starting to see when anything's different, when any little thing is different, when he's out of his element just slightly, which is including on the road, which they're not playing the Super Bowl in San Francisco. They have to go to Las Vegas if they make it that far.
Control.
Yeah, but I'm saying anything out of his control. That's not his home field. I think the guy is very structured in his little box, and it works when all his little toys are spread out. And he's like a special child in that way, where when everything is structured in the room, it's great. And if you take one toy out, he's going to have a temper tantrum. If you add the rain or take away Deebo, the guy can't function. And I felt vindicated because I've been saying it all year. I don't dislike the guy. I just think there's a reason we put so much time into scouting and the draft picks and the contracts. And there's a reason 7th round picks don't make it. And now we're seeing why.
Now, all right. So there is a shot that San Francisco can beat the Lions this weekend too. So we can get into all those games in a minute. But I do feel like Brock Purdy was uncomfortable. The rain messed him up. This week they will be. Where will they? They're going to be at the Lions, correct? Or
they're at home in San Francisco.
They're at home. So
I haven't checked the weather. I mean, it's raining in LA here, right?
I know. Well, I think this weekend's going to be a little clear, so hopefully it's pretty good. But yeah, it was just.
How's the Vegas weather this weekend?
Vegas weather looking good, looking really nice. 60 and sunny. It's going to be really nice.
Oh, I love it.
The other thing I want to talk about, Jordan Love. Now I see all these people going out like he's going to get the highest paid contract. All this. Weirdly, is it just me? I didn't feel that impressed by him at all. I almost felt the hype train was around him, but nothing ever sparked my interest enough to be damn, that guy deserves a huge contract. And I think he's been with the Packers 4 years now or something like that. So I just don't. It wasn't doing it for me. I don't know why he deserves a big contract. I know he got them where they are. I mean, in a way, maybe better than Dak at this point, but it just didn't excite me. I just don't. What do you see with him?
Packers had a slow start to the year, and there were some bad takes on this podcast by me about Jordan Love and the Packers regime, and we're not going to pull the tapes or tell people to go back to those because those are bad and wrong, just like the rest of my NFL predictions lately. It's great that the Packers made it as far as they did. I feel like they were written off in the middle of the season. They were terrible. They were bad. They were not functioning, and it all came together where they were literally one good drive away from hosting. Or actually, they'd be in the road in Detroit, but going to the NFC Championship game, if Jordan Love didn't throw that errant interception late in that game, which a lot of people thinking back to Brett Favre, apparently Favre had a very similar interception to end a playoff game against the Vikings years ago, so you have that Packers lore going on. I was not a Jordan Love guy, but to answer your question, I think you got to pay him coming out of this. And maybe if you compare him to Tua, I feel like he's at least shown more conventional winning than Tua.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, at this point. Yeah, just it doesn't excite me, and I guess Packers fans, I guess you're pretty happy because Aaron Rodgers left, and then you're here, and you're still in the playoffs, so good for you. But yeah, I don't love it.
It's going to work out for them. One thing I am happy about, I'll tell you this. I'm glad the Bucs lost because the Bucs fans, they've had too much joy, too much happiness, too much wealth in recent years. I mean, they had a nice run with John Gruden. And then they won a Super Bowl. And then they got Tom Brady, and they won another Super Bowl. And now you're going to go on a playoff run with Baker Mayfield when the rest of us, as we covered last week, have not won a playoff game since their bar mitzvah. And that's me and the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. And so Bucs fans deserve no wins, no success, no surprise playoff wins going forward until I can at least get a few of them. And speaking of me, it sounds like the Bills deserve some too. They've never won a Super Bowl, as we just found out on the pod. So Bucs fans, you had a nice run. Pump the brakes. I'm ready for 20 years of mediocrity for the Bucs.
What do you think? I mean, Baker's up. He was only signed a 1-year deal. Mike Evans is up.
Gotta pay Baker, right?
Do they both come back? Do you actually have to pay Baker? I don't know.
How can you not? I mean, again, he led them as far as Jordan Love led the Packers, and the roster's not that good, right?
No, but so if Mike Evans comes back, signs with the Bucs, then obviously Baker's going to be coming back. But like Mike Evans probably could get a ton of money from a contending team that would really want a receiver like him, and he's going to get paid a lot, and that's going to actually hurt the Bucs a lot more. So if you go somewhere else, let's say the Miami Dolphins or the Jags or the Falcons.
Well, we don't want slow receivers on the Dolphins.
Okay, or you got the Falcons. Maybe Bill Belichick's going to end up over there. I just think he could make a ton of money if that's what he's looking for. He's in the end of his career. He's got maybe 5 years left in him, and maybe 2 to 3 good ones. Go get your money. Go play somewhere else. I think sure you can sign Baker, but like. What is that going to do for you? It's just going to kind of hold over a little bit. He's good. I mean, I think the team loves him over there, but I just don't think you sign him. If Mike Evans is moving on, you move on from Baker. Because there's no.
You think it's like bring both back or bring none back?
Yeah, you have to, because what are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, we're going to build around Baker. He's good, but you can see the problems in him. Like he's not great. I feel like he's a little stuttery with his throwing, and I'm not confident in him.
He was on a really cheap 1-year deal. It's almost like they need to pay him now just to pay him back for what he brought this year, because he brought so much value. It was much more than $6 million. And I don't know how you let him go away. There's no one behind him. They don't have a high draft pick to try to add a Caleb Williams. And so I think it's like 95% Baker. And our Tampa cap experts will be able to tell us if they can actually sign both. I know they have a ton of impending free agents and salary cap hell. And that's what always happens kind of at the end of a Super Bowl run, which they had with Brady. They had all the veterans. You're pushing the money down the road. And at some point, the money becomes a problem. It's becoming a problem for the Dolphins this offseason, the Bills this offseason. The Saints have been in salary cap hell for a while. We've seen it across the league, and the Bucs are encountering that. Can they do it one more time? Can they give Mike Evans the franchise contract? I don't think they gave it to him before. So you pay him on a 1 year, then you sign Baker, and you run it back. Because, hey, they were 2 wins away from getting to the Super Bowl. They were that close. So the idea to not return any of them, I don't think you can do it. I'm happy for Baker, but I want the Bucs to lose a lot.
Wow, okay. The other game we didn't talk about, I mean, Ravens, Texans. Is there anything to really say? Like, I think it was a great run for CJ. Ravens were the better team coming off the bye. I don't think there's much to say. Like, you didn't expect Houston to go in, and they kept it close for a little while. I was a little nervous, but
I thought Stroud would play better, right? I thought he put on a little bit of a show. They scored 10 points. I want to say 7 of them were from a punt return, so Stroud scored 3 points.
Yeah. It wasn't the best showing for Stroud, but I think ultimately, like, the team, they're looking good. They're like, next year, if you want to place a big bet on them to win the AFC South or something like that, that could be a good bet again.
One of the crazy things is, why are all the good quarterbacks in the AFC? You look at the final 4 QBs in the AFC. Stroud was the worst one, and it was Lamar, and it was Mahomes and Allen. Like, those are 3 Hall of Famers plus CJ Stroud, who might be a Hall of Famer too. And the NFC, who are we getting this week? We're getting Goff and Purdy. Yeah. I mean, Baker's better than both of those possibly. And so the NFC quarterback situation pales in comparison to what's going on in the AFC.
Who do you think is like? Who does Vegas want to see for the Super Bowl? So now we've already said, okay, Chiefs, obviously they're going to the Super Bowl. Is it the Lions or the 49ers? I feel like the bigger draw would be the 49ers, but the Lions, you could still get that color scheme if you blend all the colors together, right?
I was thinking that as you were saying it. Yeah. I think Lions Chiefs can actually still make the script work, right?
Yeah, I think it could. The color, like if you blend
the
that
blue
red
turns
with
into
the blue,
purple. Yeah, red and blue equals purple. There you go.
Yeah, I think it all works.
So it's all still in play. Are you ready to give picks for this weekend? Or?
Yeah, I can give picks. I can talk a little. Let's do Chiefs and Ravens. They're first. Ravens are -3.5. Could be 3 soon. If I'm going to bet a lot this weekend, I'm going hard on anytime touchdown scores. A lot of touchdowns did not happen this week. Yeah. I put some other touchdown scores on. I only hit 1 out of my 4 touchdown scores.
Laporta had a target late in the game in the end zone, just didn't bring it down.
But I do think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Mahomes is an underdog, a 3-point underdog. I like it. want to see where the money's going, but this is what I think. I think the public, most people, like our Colorado friend in the thread, he hates all the Taylor Swift stuff. I love it. I think everybody's going to fade Taylor Swift in the Kansas City Chiefs. I think so. I don't think they want to
Lamar Jackson just won his second playoff game of his life, while Patrick Mahomes has been to 6 straight AFC Championship games.
Yeah, and I think he's going to win another one. And I think the Ravens are good, but I was looking back at some of the games, like they're a little iffy in that fourth quarter. So I do think this could be a game. It could come close, and Patrick Mahomes could just go out there and win the game. I trust him more than I do Lamar. Like Lamar to me is good, but I don't trust him to go out there and be like, I'm going to win this game. And sure, he can run, he can do all that, but I don't know. It's a weird week. Last week, I didn't really have a feel, but like, I know teams I want to win, but I have to put my emotions aside later this week. I have to really think about it. But right now I'm leaning Chiefs with the points because they could still lose, but I could still hit that bet. But it's early. We're recording this Monday, right? Monday midday. Who knows what's going to happen later in the week? Injury reports could pop up, stuff like that.
I think I'll be on the Chiefs money line. A question for you on the line. Does Vegas set the line because that's exactly what it should be, or does Vegas set the line because they want action on the line? And I ask that because with the Chiefs and Bills game, it seemed like everyone I know was picking the Chiefs to win. Everyone on TV is picking the Chiefs to win, yet it held at a 2.5-point line with the Bills as a favorite. Yet the Chiefs won. Now this week we're seeing it again. The Chiefs and Ravens are looking at 2.5 to 3 points, depending where you look. But again, everyone is talking so far like it's the Chiefs. But is the line going to move, or is Vegas asking for action on the Chiefs by keeping the line where it is?
I think the way it goes, at least from what I can understand, I think most of it could also be you set the line, and this feels right? Ravens are at home, so you're giving them a 2.5 point, maybe a 2-point favor. Ravens are coming off. They were the number 1 seed. They got the bye. So that makes sense. Like a 3-point line makes sense. But if they're getting action on both sides and it's evenly split, I think they might just keep it. Like there needs to be a ton of money on one side to move the line. So it opened at 3.5. I imagine it settles at 3 because if you get that hook for the Chiefs, like that's great because you could just win on a field goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think with Vegas, it's all about where they need to hit the wins, right? And I think they lost a lot this weekend with the Lions and a lot of favorites winning. That hurts them, right? Like teasers and parlay money lines, like those hurt the books. And I think, there's all those options, other props and everything that go up probably help them out too. But I don't know. What are you thinking? Are you trying to like figure out what the books are doing and go with the books? Are you trying to be with the like MGMs and all those sports books, or what are you trying to do?
It stood out to me how everyone and their mother was on the Chiefs, but the Bills stayed a 2.5-point favorite. And that's why I was like thinking to myself, why are they still a favorite? You watch every pregame show, it was either all Chiefs or like 4 Chiefs and 1 Bills. Like no majority was taking the Bills in any world. Like why did they stay favorites? I think Vegas was asking for money, maybe on the Chiefs, thinking the Bills would win. I was trying to like compute it in my head, and it didn't happen. It would have happened maybe if the Bills kicker wasn't such a dummy with the wind.
No, that's what happens.
By the way, the Ravens are the only team in the playoff draft I have left. You have the other 3. And so if the Ravens don't win the Super Bowl, I might be taking you out to dinner.
Wait, I have Lions, 49ers, and Chiefs?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. I've totally forgot we did that.
I had the Bills. I thought, it kind of equals out. I'd have the Bills, Ravens. I'd have the AFC. I'd have the NFC if the Bills just beat the Chiefs. But that's not what happened.
Jeremy, this summer, I would like to go with you to Vegas, and I want us to take a TSH fund and go there, and us to do every team. I want us to bet like $25 on every team over unders.
I love that. TSH funds?
Maybe we'll see. We'll see. See how
many ad reads we have between now and then.
I just think it would be a lot of fun to go there and just do every over under, and you probably would hit a few, right? You got to make a little money from that. Hopefully.
I think so. Yeah.
That'll be fun. Maybe we'll do it. We can't do it now. We got to do it when the lines come out. All right. So the last game. I mean, I don't know why this game's last. I feel like this is the game that I don't want to watch as much, but Lions.
I'll tell you why it's last if you want a little inside TV is because the Super Bowl's on CBS. And so the other network always gets the better slot on AFC, NFC Championship Day because you'll get the highest rating. You'll get to sell the most commercials. So CBS is already peaking the next week. So Fox NFC was always going to be the last game this Sunday.
Interesting. Okay. So Lions at 49ers. 49ers right now, 7-point favorites. Seems like a lot of points with Brock Purdy's performance. I feel like the entire city of Detroit is hoping Detroit can make it to the Super Bowl. Like the passion, like I almost feel for the fans. Like this is like it for them. Like Jared Goff, he is like your Messiah, bringing you to the Holy Land.
Which is like a disappointing Messiah when you're reading the Bible and 20 years later it turns out to be Goff. That's so sad.
But he's bringing them to the Super Bowl. And in part of me is like, I should just bet with the story. It's a better story. But the 49ers make sense. Like, I saw a report too about Tom Brady. San Francisco was trying to get Tom Brady to San Francisco. And if he was there, they told Brock, you'd be sitting this year, even if you're healthy, because we have Tom Brady. So
which is, again, another example of Shanahan telling you how he really feels about Brock Purdy, that he tried to go get a retired dude to play ahead of him.
But it would be like pretty epic if Tom Brady was there and just won it.
And Brady he grew up in the San Francisco area, the Bay Area. It'd be like going home. I don't know why he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying his retirement. This is like his first like season off, so it's probably.
We don't know. He's single. We don't know what he's doing this year.
Don't.
Next year he's going to join Fox. Apparently, they say he's like up to 80-90% likely to do.
I will say I'm not a fan of Greg Olsen and the other guy on Fox. It just didn't sound the same as what are the guys on ESPN now? What are their names? With
Buck and Aikman are the best, and Tirico and Collinsworth are great.
Yeah, just the voices, just like. Buck and Aikman, like their voices just sound like I'm watching something important. And Olsen and the other guy didn't really do it for me. I was like, this guy's not putting a lot of hope into this game for me.
I didn't think Olsen had a great performance on that Packers-Niners game Saturday. He only gets one game left, and then he's relegated to the bench. So, my prediction, he might leave. He might go coach. Yeah. He's not going to stick around, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. As far as the line, I think it's too big also. After what we just saw with Purdy, I'd say 5.5 or so. The thing is, the Lions have not played a road game in like over a month. Jared Goff does not have good home road splits throughout his career. What?
They're playing outdoors too.
Exactly. It's outdoors, and so Goff will be in the elements, but we saw Purdy in the elements, so maybe you do take Goff anyway on the quarterback position. And also Debo. Like if Debo's not out there.
I know.
We talked about it weeks and weeks ago. When Debo and Trent Williams lead you out of the tunnel, you win. When they're not there with the big boom box, you lose. And it's like that's what happened without Debo. They almost lost. So we'll see if he plays. I'm more likely to be on the Niners side. If he's out, if there's any kind of chance of precipitation, give me the Lions and all the points.
I don't think it's going to rain this weekend. I will say, I could probably check the lines right now, but I will say I feel like a lot of money's probably going to come on the points. But actually, 78% of the money is on the 49ers right now. So I don't really know how this is going to go. I want to kind of settle in. But honestly, like, you don't have to bet the games. You could bet, like, fun props. And that's the thing
you don't have to bet and you can watch as a fan and enjoy them?
No. You have to bet the prop. You have to bet something on the game. Yeah. You have to bet something on the game. You don't have to bet a side, and I think sides are hard. And you found that out. You found that out. Sides are hard to pick winners on. All season because he did the super contest as well. And it's not easy with those spreads.
I've had a bad run. Fantasy, betting, my real team, the Dolphins. But I'm learning. And you know what that leads me to? My saddest fan base rankings, which I want to share with you, Mike. I have a ranking
this is great.
of some sad fan bases right now. I'll start with number one, the number one saddest fan base. Based on the stat I told you to begin our show, the Buffalo Bills, who have never won a Super Bowl and now have the window closing, I feel like are the number one saddest fan base.
I would agree at this moment, but I feel like your Dolphins are up there too, just because I think
they'll be listening.
I don't know what the salary cap issue is next year for the Bills, but it's definitely like Josh doesn't have. He's got years left in him, but you got to put something around him. You got to be maybe the defense. Something's got to happen and change over there, or you're just going to waste Josh Allen's years, and he's just going to be one of those quarterbacks that were great but never won anything.
There's been a lot of those, Dan Marino. Listen, they might replace Sean McDermott. That might be one of the changes. Bill Belichick possibly in Buffalo. That'd be crazy. Playing against the Patriots twice a year. Belichick might like that.
Oh, he'd love that.
My number two saddest fan base. I went back and forth between this one and you know who. I went with the Philadelphia Eagles because their fall from grace, they actually had expectations. You can argue the Cowboys didn't have expectations because they're the Cowboys, but the Eagles were just in the Super Bowl. They were like 9-1 at one point this year. They looked great again. And that fall, and now they're keeping Sirianni, which I think moves them up one spot in the sad rankings because they thought they were moving on, and now they're not.
Did you see the article about like how not Josh Allen, Hurts was not on the same page as the offensive coordinator or something? He would just go out there and call audibles and not even listen to the offensive coordinator. I think something's got to change over there too. But with Hurts, is it something with him and his attitude? Because I was talking to one of our friends and he's like, is Hurts always like that? Just kind of moody and not like showing,
grumpy, right?
Yeah, he's just grumpy. Like, why can't it be excited sometimes? Like, you're winning or losing, like show something so at least people know you're on the same page as them. Like, you can't even celebrate anything. Kind of not
I'm not
fun.
an expert on this stuff, but apparently he is a man of faith, and he lets it all in God's hands during the game. That's why he doesn't react strongly, positively or negatively, because it's all in God's hands, not his.
Well, talk to God, I guess, because he's not
talk
leading
to God
you the right
about
way.
your offensive coordinator because you need a new one. And they lost their two coordinators after the Super Bowl. If you remember, Gannon, the defensive guy, went to Arizona. Offense, Steichen goes to Colts, almost led them to the playoffs. And so Sirianni was exposed. I thought for sure he'd be gone. And that brings me to number 3, saddest fan base, the Dallas Cowboys. You also kept your head coach after that debacle. We did a recording last week, Mike, last Monday, and we said 0% chance McCarthy sticks around. We thought he'd be fired by the time we got the show posted. And a week later, he's still there as head coach, and it seems like Jerry's running it back. It's incredible.
I don't understand how they're keeping him back. I mean, we like put out some clips, and it's like the day we're putting out the clip about Cowboys should fire him, it's like, no. He's going to stay. He's going to be here for another year. But obviously it's like, prove it or you're out kind of thing. But I just don't think you run it back. Like, bring a little new blood in there. Football's weird because it really does matter. Like, when somebody new comes in, it could change it all. Because like when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, didn't Gruden just like come in 2004 and all of a sudden they just won the Super Bowl with this basically the same crew, and they went out there and won the Super Bowl. So I don't know. Sometimes change is nice
especially
NFL.
with the coaching candidates available right now. We're seeing Belichick and Harbaugh, two greats. Pete Carroll, if you want him, he's available.
Could be.
What's the other one? The Ravens defensive coordinator, McDonald, seems so good. Mike Vrabel, one of the best head coaches. Like, we've never seen a coaching cycle like this. So even for the Cowboys and Eagles to both keep their dummies when there's all these smart people out there really makes you think, well, the owners would rather be in charge than a smart head coach. Quickly, my number 4 saddest fan base ranking. You said it. It's the Dolphins. They're included. I still think it's worse to be a Bills fan right now because you have Josh Allen. You made it that far, and you had nothing to show for it, just like me.
It's going to be a tough few years for you because I feel like if you don't switch it up a little, I don't know what's good. I don't know if you can trust Tua. I think that's the problem because if he's losing confidence, I think that's all it is. Like, when he's a confident guy going out there and playing, I think he plays really well. But when he's not, I think it just all crumbles. And it's similar to Brock Purdy. Like, a little bit of rain on your hands, you can't throw the ball. Is Brock Purdy's hand small? Like, that's what I was
Does he have
wondering.
Kenny Pickett hands?
Does Kenny Pickett have little hands too?
Yeah,
little grips? Because
Our
that
Denver friend measured him in person.
Ball's pretty big. Ball's, gotta hold on.
I'll tell you what, good thing Brock Purdy's not playing outside my window. It's light rain, and I know he can't complete a pass in this weather.
It's definitely raining out here.
Real quick, my number 5 saddest fan base rankings. That's a tie at the number 5 spot between the Jaguars and the Saints. They were both in position to make the playoffs 1 point this year, but here's what happened. Their rivals won playoff games, the Texans and the Bucs, who were just like the Jags and the Saints, very similar. They both won playoff games, and now the Jags-Saints, not only did you miss it, you do not even get to make the playoffs. And
I would say they're sad, but I also feel like a lot of people don't really care about the Jags. Maybe the Saints, but the Jags are like, that
Mike,
makes
that's so
sense.
rude. I have a friend who has Jaguars season tickets.
Wow, I'm sorry for him. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like when you go through these transitions, every team is going to be sad. I could predict future sad teams. The Seahawks are going to be a future sad team because
Pete?
They fired Pete. I don't know if they're going to get much better than Pete. So it's probably going to be downhill for a little while. Like a nice 10-year span of disappointment. That always happens with
Pretty
teams.
long.
Well, that's what happens. That's all I got. I mean, games are this weekend. Hopefully I'm going to sit down with Sam, talk a little more gambling in depth. But I have the Chiefs. Who do you have again?
I have the Chiefs winning as well.
Okay. And you have Lions or...
I'm going to take the Lions money line again. I took the Packers money line. I was like a play away. I'm going to run it back with the Lions money line.
I'm probably going to go 49ers with the 7, just because I feel like if they do game plan and actually come out with a real game plan, I think they could stop it. And I think the matchup of coaches, I think I would trust, what's his name a little more? than just like a football guy. I feel like
Shanahan. You've always been a Dan Campbell guy, though, ever since Hard Knocks.
I know. Remember when Hard Knocks came out? I was like, this guy.
I told you no. I was wrong. It took some time, but I was wrong.
I know. I was pumped up about it, but I just think
what if Debo's not out there? You're not taking San Fran -7 without Debo.
Well, if the line goes down, if Debo's not there, but I just think they have the weapons. They have the defensive weapons. They can do it. And if the Bucs played that well against them with just a little bit of like, you're basically just throwing to Mike Evans and an unnamed tight end in the like. I think they could do it. So
I didn't think the Bucs played that well against them.
Yeah, but they
the score
didn't.
was close, but I felt like the Lions were in control.
Yeah, but they both went up and down the field and couldn't score. Right? They went multiple times up and down the field and just couldn't do anything. So I'm hopefully going to go 49ers. We'll see how it goes.
Mike, only 3 NFL games left this year, so we're going to run out of content soon. So give the people great games. Hope the script writers are cooking.
I hope so too.
And we'll see you for the Super Bowl preview next week.
Yeah, maybe we'll post some maybe go on Twitter or X. We'll post some like screenshots from us gambling in Vegas this weekend.
We have a big weekend. We have a big recap coming up next week, too.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we make it.
Oh, wait. Monday. Before we go, do you want to talk about our mutual friend and his 24 pancakes at the bar? Because that was a pretty big event for you, at least. I wasn't there.
I mean, yeah, I'll mention it. We're in a league. Everyone has punishments in their fantasy football leagues. This is our Hollywood High Rollers League. Some of our listeners are well aware of it. Some of our listeners are well aware that Mike was kicked out of the league for not doing the punishment. I probably should have led the show recapping all of this so everyone got to hear it. But Mike literally left the league because he wouldn't do the punishment.
Correct.
And on Saturday, our mutual friend, who is also a terrible fantasy football player who got last place, he had to do the punishment.
Yeah.
And the punishment is to do some combination of beers and pancakes equaling 24, but you can also subtract an hour each time you're there from the 24.
Well, the goal is like you have to be there for 24 hours, and every beer and pancake eliminates an hour.
Right. That's how it starts. And so I believe, in turn, he had 12 beers, 6 pancakes, and 6 hours spent. So that would get us to 24. So that sounds right.
And he felt fine. No,
he was so normal. He wasn't even like acting drunk. I'll tell you that. Like the beers didn't hit him. The 6 pancakes were interesting because he went in hungry. He ate the 6 pancakes early. Then he got uncomfortable. He never got hungry again, but he never had to eat again because he's just drinking beers. And I'll say this, to do the punishment on a January during football, much smarter. You get a better turnout. You have something to watch all day. I wasn't going to visit if there's no football on. Football and me are the reason I go out to things. But it's just amazing that he got it done already. And it's like, it's not even February 1st, and he's already done with this punishment.
Good for him. I will say, if I ever join that league, that punishment has to change because it's too easy for too many people.
Well, it depends. Like if it's me, I'm not a big eater or drinker. That's a problem. But for some, it's really easy.
But most of the people in the league are big eaters and drinkers. Like our friend Ingle would literally go there and be like, "Thanks for buying my breakfast."
Ingle goes every Saturday to do his punishment. He does every week.
I know. And also, by the way, I may or may not be talking to somebody to be joining partnership on a team over there. So
it's a weird move for a league champion to bring in a co-owner, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. All right, check out thesportshangover.com. Go and subscribe on our YouTube, youtube.com/sportshangover. We also have swag on the website. Follow us on TikTok. We also have clips up there. I'm also responding to any questions or comments. Getting a lot of hate comments, which is a lot of fun. People don't like our takes. People don't think we know anything about football. I appreciate it all. It means you're watching, so at least you watch. So that's all we really care about, right? Comments are comments.
Great. Keep commenting. Hate us. That's great.
That's great. All right, good show. See you.